So I'm about as fed up as everybody, especially about talking about this fight between WBC franchise WBA Super, IBF, Ring Magazine, WBO champion, 135-pound lightweight, Teofimo Lopez. I'm TstreeT Controversy with my colleague Big J of FightView360.com. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. Also, do me a solid. Right down below in the description box before we actually get over to the topic right here, you are going to see some links. One for Apple, if you have Apple, one for Android, and one for Roku TV. It's the WBC channel. They have an app sponsored and powered by the Vive Network. What we're going to be doing is our content, and coming very soon, exclusive content and interviews with WBC champion fighters are going to be featured on the app. Also fights, etc., etc. But I got a video here from the MMA Hour with acclaimed MMA journalist, vlogger, podcaster, Ariel Helwani, where he's talking to the showrunner, the guy who pulls the strings over at Triller, Ryan Kavanaugh, about how they were attempting, as of yesterday, to the September the 20th, 2021, to move Teofimo Lopez versus Kambosos again. Now, I'm not going to go through all the details. I should have pulled it up on how many times this fight has been postponed or moved since the purse bid was won for just a little over $6 million. Teofimo Lopez is set to make $3.9 million guaranteed. Kambosos $2.1 million. Now, in the grand scheme of boxing, those are top 10 paydays for the year. You know, you got guys like Jamal Charlo, Vasil Lomachenko not making that type of guaranteed money. And the list goes on. So let's play this clip right here before we really dig into this, because I'm fed up. As it stands right now, the IBF is not allowing the fight to be moved to October the 16th in the Barclays Center to be paired with some versus musical rap battle. I'll let this play through. Please take a time out, like the video, subscribe.
The other one, okay, so you have Teofimo Lopez fighting October 2nd. Is that happening? Is this finally going to happen, the Lopez fight?
Yeah, I'll give you some breaking news. We're trying to put it on to the 16th instead of the 2nd for one reason. We just realized the Raiders game is that Monday night against the 2nd.
Okay.
Now, let me stop right there. Big J, did you hear that? How, and I'm sorry, but how did this guy not know that October the 4th is football season? Monday Night Football, the highest rated sport in the country of America. And he put on a pay-per-view. Look, it's still listed here on fight.tv. 13 days, 20 minutes away. So how did they not know this already? That right there is just a huge, big red flag. Before we let the rest of this play, you want to jump in a little bit, Big J?
Well, I learned a long time ago, never underestimate the predictability of stupidity. So this guy clearly, I've had a fucking gutful of this shit, to bloody put an Australian term in. Gutful means you're fed up. And this bloke has absolutely no idea what the hell he's doing. And it proves. How do you not know that Monday night in October is football season? I'm not an American and I fucking know that. You know? The only thing that can really topple Monday Night Football was Monday Night Raw, and that was back in the bloody Attitude Era days.
Yeah.
So that was 20 years ago. Well, I don't think Raw would outrate Monday Night Football
Not
now.
anymore.
So, not anymore. So, I mean, it's like how many times have I said, why do Australians do it on Wednesday? Because we don't fuck with the football codes during the winter, during the footy seasons. And that's bloody stupid.
And that was a question that was going around on social media, is why do Australian or New Zealand fights happen on Wednesdays? It's because
not so much New Zealand fights, definitely Australian fights, not
definitely
so much
Australian
New Zealand fights.
You know, it's because of, you know, football, and boxing wouldn't dare compete with, you know, football. So
yeah, it's not big enough. It's not big enough anymore. It used to be, but not anymore.
So the first thing that me and other fans on social media thought was, when it was announced for November the 4th, was October the 4th, was like, no, wait, that's a Monday. You know, and for $49.99 on the same night as Monday Night Football, what were they thinking? And to hear that this guy I mean, what is he expecting for fans to say? He didn't
And they
know.
increase the price.
And then you
They
increase the
price to
price.
$20.
So
Madness. Madness.
let me let this segment play all the way through, and then we'll talk about it some more. Please take your time out, like the video, subscribe. All the links to our social media are right down below in the description box.
The other one, okay, so you have Teofimo Lopez fighting October 2nd. Is that happening? Is this finally going to happen, the Lopez fight?
Yeah, I'll give you some breaking news. We're trying to put it onto the 16th instead of the 2nd for one reason. We just realized the Raiders game is that Monday night against the 2nd.
Okay.
Which I don't think we want to go against. And then we started looking at what else is that week, and you've got the playoffs the next night, and you've got a big fight. I forgot the fight was that weekend. But what we really want to do is do it at Barclays on the 16th with a full versus connected to it.
Okay.
So it's not official. We're still as of now on the 2nd, but there is a big discussion going on with management, and the IBF already said okay as long as the fighters approve it. Obviously, putting a versus on there, as you know, I think you saw. I don't know if you saw, but our last versus broke records again. We were the second most watched show of the entire year, any show.
Wow.
Only first to our last versus before that, which is was over almost 6 million concurrent viewers. So to be able to bring that audience to the Teofimo fight and pair them together, which is what we're trying to do, because there's a crossover of that, especially since he's from Brooklyn. If we could put it, at Barclays, I think it's a great date. There is a UFC, I know, and there is another, kind of, I think maybe a PBC match, but I think it's, from all the dates we're seeing, it's kind of the only one that makes a lot of sense without pushing it out too far.
Will Anderson fight for you again?
They just need to get the fight over with. Let me read something here from Dan Rayfield's blog. Fight Freaks Unite is what it's called. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and read it for you. This was just released about 3 or so hours ago. Unified Lightweight World Champion Teofimo Lopez and IBF mandatory challenger George Kambosos Jr. have a major disagreement on how they think the fight will go. But one thing they and their teams do agree on is they have no intention on allowing Triller to move the fight yet again to a new date and a new venue. Lopez and Kambosos are scheduled to finally meet in the main event of a Triller Fight Club pay-per-view card on October the 4th at the Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden in New York. But Triller chief Ryan Kavanaugh said Monday in an interview on the video was just watched that they're trying to move it to October the 16th to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, or to New York in the Madison Square Garden arena. Lopez's team pushed back with lawyer letters to Triller over the issue, both which I published on Fight Freak Unite on Monday. Later, Team Kambosos weighed in when its lawyer, Greg Smith, who also happens to be Canelo's attorney, wrote to the IBF president, Daryl Peoples, and the IBF attorney, Linda Torres, to also say they had no intention on allowing Ryan Kavanaugh, who's running Triller, pulling the strings, to move the fight. In that email, Smith also detailed to the IBF a significant contractual issue that Kambosos would not travel to the United States from his home in Australia for the fight until Triller lives up to its obligation. So, I fully support both of the fighters and both of their teams saying, you know what, enough is enough. You moved it too much. Give us our guaranteed money. That was your dumb fault, Ryan Kavanaugh, for not forecasting or having your team or nobody in these meetings when they put these fights together to say, hey, Chief, Monday Night Football is on that night. You sure you want to do this? Like, that right there in a legal term is called like incompetence. Like, how did you not know that? And that's not the fighter's fault. These fighters been in camp for God knows how long. Teofimo got married. Both of these fighters are having babies. Have to keep, got babies on the way. If not here yet, I don't know. But I know that, newborns, whatever they like, like what are we doing here? And then for the fans, Imagine, right? You buying tickets for a pre-sale, and we've seen this numerous times with Triller, where it's like, yo, this fight's going to take place in Florida. Damn, I made all these travel arrangements, and they're canceled during fight week. Oh, this fight's taking place here. Damn, I made these arrangements, and it's canceled again. Why would you trust this organization to put money into when you don't even know what's going to happen? Two fighters go out with COVID, and just so happens Teofimo and Oscar De La Hoya. Not saying nothing, but the Oscar De La Hoya versus Belfort fight, those tickets wasn't doing well, and it's all over social media. Lopez Kambosos, it wasn't doing well, trending well, and they had Mayweather chase them off their date this summer. None of it makes any sense. You want to chime in, Big J, because I'm fed up and I'm tired. And it's a shame because Teofimo, he's losing so much and has lost so much momentum that nobody gives a people, like fans don't give a fuck no more. Kambosos, okay, all right, he's making a career high payday. His name is a lot more well known now, in the wrong way because of all these postponements, but it's just a whole big clusterfuck all the way around, and I'm frankly sick of talking about it.
Yeah, I'm fucking sick of talking it too. Oh, like you said, why didn't they just put it in the Barclays Center in the first place?
Yeah.
As you said, there was no restrictions back in New York back in June. They probably would have got a decent house because isn't that where Teofimo, that's his hometown,
Yeah.
Brooklyn? Yeah. They would have no restrictions. The start of summer, so kids would have just been very close to knocking off school for the year,
Yeah.
if they were even in school in the first place. They've completely and utterly balls this up. I mean, this has got to be the biggest clusterfuck in boxing history. Has there ever been an event that's been more postponed and dicked around more than this one?
No, this is bad. And the problem is there are 4 titles that are being held up. 4.
Exactly.
5 if you count the ring.
It's one of the most significant fights in lightweight. There hasn't been a lightweight champion at 135 4-belt division, has there? Undisputed.
No, Teofimo's the first.
No. Well, technically he's not because Devin Haney's still got his belt, but let's not get into that. Let's leave that alone. He should fight Devin Haney next after he beats George. I hope George kicks the shit out of him though. But this is just embarrassing. Don't word to describe it, and that's being nice. Embarrassing. I mean, Trillers, they haven't shot their foot off. They haven't shot themselves in the foot. They've blown their fucking leg off. They're literally limping around on one leg. Like, the fans have had enough. I've had enough. There's no wonder there's no interest in this fight because everyone's going, oh, this is just bullshit. It's never going to happen. You keep on doing this.
You can't believe, you can't get hyped because as soon as you're thinking like, okay, all right, finally it's going to happen. It has to happen. Look what they do. They try to move it again. So the good thing is, viewers, fans of Lopez and fans of Kambosos, is the IBF has put their foot down. The fighters have put their foot down. This fight has to happen on October the 4th. They're not trying to move it. Ryan Kavanaugh and Triller want to move it because they're trying their best to try to find a profit with this, because right now, as it stands, on that Monday, I would be surprised if this pay-per-view, and I'm not trolling, remember, I buy and cover all these pay-per-views, on a Monday night for $50, I'm not going to be surprised if this pay-per-view only does about 80,000 pay-per-view buys, less than 100, especially with the rumors of Holyfield versus Belfort doing 150,000 pay-per-view buys. This fight shouldn't have been on pay-per-view in the first place, but it was because they wanted to accommodate for the purse. And if you don't know, the only reason why Kambosos and Lopez are getting this much money is because it was supposed to be teamed up with Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield. So they was like, all right, we got some extra money to spend because Tyson versus Holyfield or Holyfield versus Tyson 3 is going to sell major money. So we just throw this little $6 million down there for those fighters. And now they have these fighters who have to carry the event. So they want to try to put it with a musical versus battle with some New York, rappers and get some celebrities in the building and then have Lopez Kambosos probably lead into that to make some money. But all the way around the board, this shit's going to flop. Just get the fight over.
It was doomed to fail from day one.
Yeah.
It's like Triller never should have bid on this fight. They never should have bid on this fight because it's just been a complete clusterfuck since they bid on it, because it's been an absolute catastrophe and an embarrassment since they bid on the fight. I mean, okay, yeah, they can organise a couple of old boxers who are well past their prime and 20 years into retirement. Yeah, okay, whatever. But they can't organise an actual fight. They've proven that. What actual fights have they organised?
Yeah, you know,
legitimate boxers.
They need to stay completely away from championship fights from here on out. They have no, you know, they have no credibility.
They're a novelty brand. They're a sideshow attraction. Stick to that. That's all right. If they do that well, stick to what they do well. And, you know, to their credit, not that they have much of them, they can sideshow Ali, the old, you know, fighter coming back fighting the old UFC bloke or the YouTube bloke fighting the basketball. They can do that quite well, and it sells. So stick to that. Don't go venturing into a thing that clearly they know nothing about, and they've proven that. It's not like we're you know, saying anything they haven't done, because the only thing they haven't done is put the bloody fight on.
For real, and it's frustrating, and I'm fed up. So let me get to a little bit of news in 135-pound division since we are here. Vasyl Lomachenko in his second fight back since losing to Teofimo Lopez. Lopez hasn't had a fight yet. Lomachenko is heavily rumored to be taking on Richard Comey later on this year in about December or so. Also,
let me cut you off there. Hang on. That fucked up Lomachenko Lopez too. That was supposed to happen in December.
Yep.
I bet you Bob's not very happy about that.
Yeah.
He'd be pissed.
And now Teofimo Lopez is saying, you know, he don't want to give Loma another chance anymore. I think that's just him selling it up. You know, I think that the fight is pretty much already done. He's just talking shit to try to keep his name relevant. Also, Ryan Garcia and Jojo Diaz are going to fight in a WBC interim fight that shouldn't be happening, and I'm going to talk about that in a separate video. They shouldn't be defending, you know, that belt. Devin Haney currently doesn't have an opponent. And right now, those are the major players in the 135-pound division. And we're still waiting on what Tank Davis is going to do when he comes back, looking like he's going to be back in December as well. Rumors, I don't really believe it, but what's going around is he may be fighting former WBA interim champion Rolando Romero. Closing thoughts, Big J?
Just had an absolute gutful of this shit. I just wanted to get it over and done with, because it's, I mean, the horse is dead. It's been flogged to death. I mean, what's left to do?
Yeah, I mean, we did so many videos on this, and it's like, ew. And then we still got to do fight week, you know? So, like, you know, we're gonna be burnt out by then. Yeah, but because I don't have no joy. Like, it shouldn't feel like I feel like, okay, wow. Like, I'm relieved that this fight is happening. Like, you know?
Here's the thing that pisses me off, right? This is the biggest opportunity for an Aussie fighter in 20 years since Glenn Kelly fought Roy Jones, and it's completely fucked. And everyone's like, oh, I'm so sick of this. Here's George getting the biggest opportunity for an Australian in 20 years, and it's just been absolutely shot to shit. So
fighting for all that gold. Imagine if he were to win. Australia would roll out the red carpet, but you know, well, one thing is, can you explain, which we almost forgot, is main event has picked up the fight, right?
Oh, well, I do believe they picked up. Can you bring up the website real quick?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now.
It'll be someone on Twitter said it's 11 a.m. start, and thank you to whoever that was. 11 a.m. start on October 5th. I think for $29.95, is that right? Because that was the last time.
Hold on,
I'm pretty sure main event was contracted to.
Yeah, here it is.
It should be October the 5th, 11 a.m. kickoff, $29.95. That's just a guess.
Yep, 11 a.m. AED. Yep, Australian Eastern Time. That's what that means. AEDT.
No, daylight savings. Because daylight savings kicks in.
Yep.
Oh shit! I hate fucking daylight savings. In the next week or two. So before then, probably that weekend, daylight savings.
So it says $29.95 on Foxtel and KO. Starts at 11 a.m. your time.
11 a.m. Yeah, that'd be right. Yeah, well, Eastern Standard Daylight Savings time. Yeah. So on the East Coast, it'll be what 10:30 Central and
crazy
9 a.m. or something like that over in WA. So.
Well,
Uh,
we're going to be here live. We're going to be doing a stream after the fight because with the post-fight press conference, etc. That's going to be interesting when it's competing against Monday Night Football. Also, you can expect for us to be here for the fight week events, the final press conference, the media workout, and the weigh-in, and hopefully nobody gets COVID. That'd be fun. I don't want to jinx it, but that'd be crazy if, the last thing that can happen is if George Kambosos gets sick. That'd be fucked up. But let's not
please
jinx the dude.
don't bloody say anything like that. Bloody hell.
Yeah, let's not jinx the dude. He the last one to actually have an excuse to try to.
Give yourself an uppercut for saying that. Bloody hell. What
I shouldn't have said anything like that. But all right.
Bloody hell. Jesus.
I don't know. Listen, I don't trust nothing.
Shouldn't blaspheme, but you know better than that.
I don't trust nothing no more with this boxing shit, especially anything involving Triller. So take your time out, like the video, subscribe. You want to say anything before we go, Big J?
I hope George gets in there and knocks the absolute daylights out of him. I hope they actually get in the ring. So I hope these boys, I don't know if their children have been born yet, but best of luck to all of them. Hope it all goes well. Hope the fight happens. And, of course, I want George to win because that would just throw a huge monkey wrench into everyone's plans. It would be fantastic.
Yeah, that would definitely put a major crack in the boxing world. It would be the talk of the town.
Yeah, because George has gone to his, he said the other day, I saw something on social media, the one percenters. Lopez is out having family gatherings or whatever. George is training. Lopez is doing this, George is training. Lopez is doing that, George is training. So, even if it's the 1%, I mean, because what was the fight? Help me out here, the last unification bout. 154. Castagno,
Carlo Castagno.
He won that, but only by about 1%. But 1% will get you over the line, won't it?
Yeah.
So we'll see if all this what Lopez has been doing, whatever he's been doing, and George is just training. But I think the 1%ers might become the factor in this fight. I dare say it will be. So let's see if George can keep those 1%ers and bring it home for Aussie boxing because we need this. Australian boxing needs it badly.
Yeah.
Because besides we ain't got anything else happening on world stage at the moment besides Tim Tszyu, and we've talked enough about him. So, yeah, I really hope he wins it, and so Australia boxing needs this, and then we'll be off to the races.
All right. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe, and hopefully this will be our last video until fight week. Hopefully. 13 days away. It's actually exactly 13 days. The card starts in exactly 13 days, 8 p.m., less than 2 weeks from today. Please take your time out, like the video, subscribe.